Hi, my name is NUNZIATA, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with an amazing artist and designer. Her name, Maria Shinas. For more Maria, you can read more about her right below this video, but in the meantime, here is my interview with the incredible Maria. Well, hello, Maria, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, I am so excited to be speaking with you. You are an amazing artist and designer, but you kind of do, well, everything. But before we get into that, I want to know, Maria, where did you grow up and when did you know that you had a love of the arts?
So I grew up in Queens, New York, and the artistic gene kind of runs in my family. My grandma, I grew up with her always painting and doing that kind of stuff. And honestly, both of my parents have the skill to like draw and do things like that, but I guess they never had the chance to pursue that kind of work. So for me, like growing up, they always pushed like art classes, dance classes, all that kind of stuff.
I
So I
love
could
that.
do it all.
I love that. Well, you grew up in New York and then actually ended up going to school right in Manhattan at Fordham University. And what did you major in when you were there, Maria?
I majored in theater design with a concentration in scenic design.
We're going to see some of the photos of some of your amazing scenic work during your time at Fordham. And, I love the fact that you don't box yourself into just one thing because you really can do it all. I mean, personally, as a director, you just acted as my lighting and sound grip because, you're freaking, badass artist of the planet. So I love also the fact that in addition to what you have gained from your studying at Fordham in terms of your scenic design, I love the fact that it's almost come up full circle within thinking about, the painting that you saw growing up. What is it like when you get to paint? What does that form of communication mean to you?
I guess for me, because when I got into design, I noticed like the missing part of not having something to do with your hands. So it's one thing to conceptualize something, but to also be the person to like seeing something being created and you're responsible for it. It's just like an amazing thing. And sometimes it can be a horrible process. It is a lot. You put a lot into your like you pour everything out when you're painting. It could be like long, laborious work, but at the end, it's always worth it. Yeah.
I love that. And I want to know of the projects that you worked on during your time at Fordham, were there any ones in particular that stood out for you?
Yeah, I worked on this horror musical. It was called Tyler, and my friend Franco wrote it. And you never really get to see that kind of genre in musical theater, like horror spectacular.
I love it.
And that was my most free experience I ever had at Fordham because I knew from the beginning that I wanted to tell a story through color. And so the set was all black and white and they had pops of red color to just really like get into the campiness of horror. I loved that.
I love it. And this doesn't happen to be Franco Giancarlo, is it?
That's him.
Well, hello. Franco is also a FENIX artist
Oh,
and
awesome.
an ambassador. So, I'm so grateful that through our dear friend Billy Reese, who is an acclaimed composer, lyricist, librettist, that I'm very fortunate to be working with on numerous projects, that he's introduced me to such amazing artists, such as Franco and yourself. I want to know, Maria, in looking ahead, are there any sort of artistic endeavors that you would just love to be a part of?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm really interested in being a part of a project where I guess it's more of like aesthetic wise, my own art style can be translated into a set. That's like my dream. Like, because Picasso used to do set design and it was more like his creative vision as a painter and that was translated into a set. And I love artistic movements like the Impressionists and stuff like that. So I would love to work on a project where I could really pick an artistic movement and translate that into a set. That's my
Wait, time
dream.
out. I want you to go a little bit more into that. So, like, give me an example, like, give me like just a specific example of what that could look like for you.
So one of my favorite illustrators ever, his name is Edward Gorey, because he is basically the one that inspired Tim Burton. And he designed the set for Dracula. And it was his line work, his sketchiness of his like the weight of his lines and what he would draw people and furniture, and it was translated exactly like that into a set, so it looked like a ginormous drawing, and I loved that. That really inspired me.
You didn't know this about me, but you literally just named my favorite artists of all time. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, and you had no idea, and so
I had no idea.
Now my brain is going through like all of the projects I want to create, because that's literally how I see the world. And then when I first saw like a Tim Burton film, I'm like, oh, he sees through that lens too. But in any event, I'm curious to know even more on what you love about that certain aesthetic.
I guess to me, when I go see a show, when I see a movie, I think this is all made up. It's a whole fantasy world. So why lean into realism? I just love a stylized point of view. So I just like going there.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Maria, in that, like, especially within theater, well, any art form, in any medium, but especially theater, where it's about ideas and allowing the audience to almost fill in the blanks. I think just that kind of stylistic interpretation allows for an audience to interpret things a little bit more, from their POV.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here you are, recent graduate of Fordham, already working in the industry. I want to know, in terms of painting, is there like, how does one go about doing, like, I want to know the process in which you began to study painting in terms of, in thinking doing it professionally, or did you never think that way when studying painting?
So in high school, I was a fine arts major. I had the luxury of going to performing arts high school. And I guess for me, like fine arts is a very solitary thing. And I didn't realize that I was craving that like a collaborator until I got into stagecraft and I started helping out in the musicals in high school and creating the worlds. And then I realized like, wow, I actually love working with other people and not just getting into my own head all the time creating art. So that's what really pushed me to go to study set design in college, because I was fully going to go to an art conservatory and just study fine art. Then I just had that like mental switch.
I love it. I mean, it's one things I love about theater, especially, but especially, the arts, in that, like, finding those moments and finding those projects where you can collaborate, where like it's best idea wins, and just working with amazing artists from all disciplines. I'm curious in moving forward for you, Maria, in, coming on board this brand new social media platform that's going to be connecting artists in a new way, but also connecting artists to potential artists in terms of collaboration, especially between the West and the East. For you, and especially coming out of this time for all of us, of where we've been kind of isolated in, maybe not working with as many people as we would like. I'm curious what, the idea of collaborating with someone outside of this country means to you.
Honestly, I think it would be amazing, because I just love different points of view and bringing in different aesthetics and creating something. A lot of things I worked on from people from Fordham, we pushed each other to think about things in different ways, and that really influenced our design perspectives. When you're working in the theater, and every like costume design, lighting design, sound design, there's so many different layers in creating a project. So like working with someone from a different country, I guess that would just be another level and push it even further.
Absolutely. Well, Maria, I could talk to you forever. I can't wait to work with you again. You are an incredible talent, an incredible soul. You have so much creativity, and I'm so grateful for you taking a little time to speak with me today.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.